गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय
Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
शोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातिरावनचारि
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
यमुनातिरा
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्रीपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 गुरु जय गुरु महाराज श्री श्रीपाद की जय जय जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय रद्राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
Yeah.
So we are reading from the Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 13. What is the title of the chapter? What are the prescribed duties for mankind, right? And we are going from verse number 4, all the way to verse number 9. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Budhidayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. Text number 4. Shri Shuka Vacha
Sri Sukha Uvacha
Vritra Vikrama Samvignaha
Vritra Vikrama Samvigna
Sarve Deva Saharshibhi
Sarve Deva Saharshibhi
Tatvadayartayan Indram
Tadvadayartyanindram
Naichad Bhito Brihadvadad.
Naichad Bhito Bruhadvadat.
Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sri Shukadev Goswami answered, when all the great sages and demigods were disturbed by the extraordinary power of Vritrasura, they had assembled to ask Indra to kill him. Indra, however, being afraid of killing a Brahmana, declined their request. Text number 5. Indra vacha stri bhudruma jalaireno vishwarupa vadodbhavam vibhaktam anugrihanadbhir vritra hatyam kvamarjmyaham. Translation. King Indra replied, when I killed Vishwarupa, I received extensive sinful reactions, but I was favored by the women, the land, the trees, and water. And therefore, I was able to divide the sin among them. But now, if I kill Vritrasura, another Brahmana, how shall I free myself from the sinful reactions? Text number 6. Shri Shuka Vacha Rishayastad Upakarnya Mahendram Idam Abruvan Yajayishyama Bhadram Te Hayamedena Masma Bhaihi. Translation. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, hearing this, the great sages replied to King Indra, O King of heaven, all good fortune unto you. Do not fear. We shall perform an Ashwamedha sacrifice to release you from any sin you may accrue by killing the Brahmana. Text number 7. Hayamedhena purusham paramatmanam ishwaram ishtva narayanam devam mokshasepi jagatvadan. The rishis continued, O King Indra, by performing an Ashwamedha sacrifice and thereby pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Super Soul, Lord Narayan, the Supreme Controller, one can be relieved even of the sinful reactions for killing the entire world, not to speak of killing a demon like Vritrasura. Text number 8 and 9. Brahma pitraha gogno matraha charyaha gavan Swadha pulkashako vapi shuddhayeranyasya kirtanan tas tam ashvamedena mahamakena tam ashvamedena mahamakena shraddhan vitosmabhir anushtitena Hadvapi sa brahmacharacharam tvam na lipyase kim khala nigrahena. Translation purport by Prabhupada. Translation. One who has killed a Brahmana, one who has killed a cow, or one who has killed his father, mother, or spiritual master can be immediately freed from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy names of Lord Narayan. Other sinful persons, such as dog eaters and chandalas, who are less than Shudras, can also be freed in this way. But you are a devotee, and we shall help you by performing the great horse sacrifice. If you please Lord Narayan in that way, why should you be afraid? You will be freed even if you kill the entire universe, including the Brahmanas, not to speak of killing a disturbing demon like Vritrasura. Purport by Prabhupada. It is said in the Brihad Vishnu Purana, Namno hi yavati shakti papa nirharane hare tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam pataki nara. Also, in the Prema Vivarta by Jagadanand Pandit, it is said, Eka Krishna Nam, papira yata papakshaya bahujanme se papi karite naraya. This means that by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from the reactions of more sins that he can even imagine performing. The holy name is so spiritually potent that simply by chanting the holy names, one can be freed from the reactions to all sinful activities. What then is to be said of those who chant the holy names regularly or worship the deity regularly? For such purified devotees, freedom from sinful reaction is certainly assured. This does not mean, however, that one should intentionally commit sinful acts and think himself free from the reactions because he is chanting the holy names. Such a mentality is a most abominable offense at the lotus feet of the holy name. Namno bala yasya hi papa buddhihi. The Lord's holy name certainly has a potency to neutralize all sinful activities. But if one repeatedly and intentionally commits sins while chanting the holy names, then he is the most condemned. These verses name the performers of various deeds. In the Manu Samhita, the following names are given. A son begotten by a Brahmana and born from the womb of a Shudra mother is called a Parashava or a Nishada, a hunter accustomed to stealing. A son begotten by a Nishada in the womb of a Shudra woman is called a Pukkasa. A son begotten by a Kshatriya in the womb of a daughter of a Shudra is called an Ugra. A child begotten by a Shudra in the womb of the daughter of a Kshatriya is called a Kshatta. A child begotten by a Kshatriya in the womb of a lower class woman is called a Shwada or dog eater. All such offsprings are considered extremely sinful. But the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so strong that all of them can be purified simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Hare Krishna movement offers everyone a chance to be purified regardless of birth or family, as confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 4th chapter, verse 18. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Kashadhaya Ye Anye Chapapa Yadapa Shraya Shraya Shuddhanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha. Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Shumbas, Yavanas, and members of the Kasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, for He is the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. Even such sinful persons can certainly all be purified if they chant the holy names of the Lord under the direction of a pure devotee. Herein, the sages encourage King Indra to kill Vritrasura, even at the risk of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahmana, and they guarantee to release him from sinful reactions by performing an Ashwamedha Yajna. Such purposefully devised atonement, however, cannot relieve the performer of sinful acts. This will be seen from the following verse. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupdamodara Swaminiti Namine Namah Sadbhaktamanaye Manipurudbhavaya Cha रूपादलसत्त्वानि प्रचार निरतायते नमो विश्वपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुर्भ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्व पाप प्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परम् संसार सागरे मग्नं दीनं मां करुणानिधे कर्मग्राह्य गृहीतांगं माम् उद्धार भवार्णवात् श्रीमद्भागवतमाख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्ष कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुख्यार्थं भवसागरे Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the Bhagavatam study, and in the sixth canto, we are coming to Vritrasura's vada, and how Vritrasura is going back home to Godhead. And in this particular chapter, in these few verses, the chapter is entitled "Prescribed Duties for Mankind." Right? This is the title of the chapter, and when we say dharma actually means something which sustains one. And what actually sustains somebody, any living entity, is like Prabhupada is translating that word dharma as occupational duty. So the Bhagavatam is glorifying it, the devotees of the Lord as well as the Supreme Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this is Pramanam Amalam. This is a spotless Puran and it is a topmost evidence. Pramanam is the topmost evidence, the spotless evidence. What is that spotless evidence? That Prema Pumarto Mahan. That the ultimate goal of life is how to develop pure love of Godhead. All the other things are secondary. So if all your occupational duties, these prescribed duties, so many duties that we have, over that period of time we have learned and we are executing in our life, if these duties they do not lead towards the love, the love of Godhead, if they not give you Bhagavad Prem, then all this is a waste of time. Whatever duty you are doing, whatever so-called dharma you are following, all this is simply a waste of time. And that's why the Lord is saying very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. You do any duty, there's some kind of reactions are required. Whether you do it in a very nice way or you do it in a bad way, there is always some reactions to that. So you do something good, you will get a good result. You do something bad, you will get a bad result. But whatever be the result, if that result is not taking you back home, back to Godhead, if it is not helping you in developing love of Godhead, then all these things is, according to the Bhagavatam, Shrama Eva Hi Keval. Notpade Tedi Ratim. If it doesn't make you attracted to the absolute truth, to the Supreme Lord, to his pure devotees, and to the process of pure devotion, then all these things is useless labor. But here, Devendra, King Indra, is fighting a battle. So, as the king of heaven, it is his job, it is his duty, the principal duty to protect all the demigods. And these demigods are being trampled and killed by this huge demon, Vritrasura. Because of so much trouble, they are all coming and they're requesting Indra, Devendra, please kindly kill this demon. And what Indra is doing? Indra is saying, no, he is very afraid. I'm very afraid to kill this person. And why? He's justifying his actions by saying, already I offended my spiritual master, so I accepted this Vishwarupa as a priest. But now after killing him, I've received so much sinful reactions, but somehow I was able to manage to overcome the results of these sinful reactions by splitting them into a quarter and handing the sinful reactions to the women, to the land, to the trees, and to water. So somehow I'm little safe now. My Indra Padavi is somehow little safe. But then if I'm going to kill this Vritrasura, who although he appears to be a demon, but still is not only just a Brahmana, but also a pure devotee of the Lord, how can I protect myself? It's a very logical question, right? And then these rishis are giving this suggestion. What are they saying? O King Indra, don't worry. You are already fortunate, but even more good fortune to you. Do not fear. Like Krishna is saying, Mahasucha, don't worry, don't be afraid. You perform, we will perform this Ashwamedha Yajna, and then, whatever reaction you will get, all these reactions will go away. Even if you kill this demon, who you think is a nice Brahmana or a devotee, still, even these reactions will go. And they are saying, how it will go away? Because you are pleasing the Supreme Lord, the Super Soul, Lord Narayan. And because of his pleasure, because the Lord becomes happy, so you can be relieved from all the sinful reactions. Even if you kill the entire world, all the living entities, all the 84 lakh species, if you kill, still you can be relieved if you satisfy the Supreme Personality of God. That is possible. What to speak of this ordinary demon, one demon, one living entity. The entire planet you wipe out, still, if you please the Supreme Lord, you can be relieved of the sinful reactions. What to speak of this ordinary person, a demon who's actually, he's troubling your subjects, who's killing and he is torturing your subjects. So this kind of demon you do, you will not inquire anything. You don't have to worry. And if at all there is some reaction, simply by pleasing the Lord through this Ashwamedha Yajna, you will be relieved of this. And then now we come to the most important part. Somebody who killed a Brahmana, who has killed a cow, who's killed his own parents, father, mother, or whose spiritual master, who is also like an eternal parent, he's an eternal father, the spiritual master, guru, all these people can be, all these sinful reactions from committing such atrocious activities, such horrible deeds, whatever sinful reactions you get, this simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Narayan, you can be delivered. So there are different categories of sinful, sins. Prabhupada is writing in one of the purports. He's saying, like in Kali Yuga, we say these are the 4 pillars of sinful activities, right? Indulging in illicit activities, indulging in intoxicants, indulging in gambling, and indulging in what is the other one? Meat eating the flesh of animals. So these things are considered to be sinful in Kali Yuga. These are the main pillars of sinful activities. So we are requested to avoid it. But generally, sins are categorized in 4 different divisions. The first one is Pataka, and Prabhupada is translating that as preliminary sin, just the beginning. It's a small start. You're doing something wrong, something bad. Then Urupataka, a little greater than that. This is not preliminary, it is a bit more intense, something much more severe. Then Mahapataka, very, very severe. And then finally, Atipataka. Atipataka means, normal people, they don't even think of commit such kind of activities. So these 4 categories are there. These four categories of sinful activities. And, killing a devotee, killing a spiritual master, his own mother and father, all these are considered like, what you call that? It's called like, they come under the range of Mahapataka and Atipataka. They are not ordinary sinful activities. They are, terrible, terrible sinful activities. It depends ultimately on the consciousness of the person. But whatever reactions are coming from that, you can be free. And then it is being said, other sinful people. Normally, one doesn't do that. Nobody is trained to kill their own parents or, kill a cow or kill a brahmana. You don't do these things. Sometimes, because of extreme force of circumstances, so many factors. There should be some particular reason why somebody is committing such a, very horrible deed, such a very terrible deed. If somebody is committing, there should be some reason, actually. Normal people don't do that. But there are sinful people, like dog eaters and chandalas, and those who are less than Shudras, less than this Varnashrama divisions. These people, even these people who commit, like, on a regular basis, they commit sinful activities. Even such people can be delivered simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord. You, Indra, Devendra, you are a nice devotee. Why do you have to worry? We will do this Ashwamedha Yajna, and you will automatically please Lord Narayan. So why should you be afraid? You please go ahead and kill this disturbing demon. So this last two verses is actually describing the glories of the holy name. Jagadanand Pandit is saying, Eka Krishna Name, Papira Yata Papakshaya. How much sinful activities you can commit over countless lifetimes, millions of births, whatever sinful activities you can do, Bahujanme, over so many periods of lifetimes. Say Papira Karite Nara, none of these things will actually, simply by chanting even once the holy name of the Lord in a pure way, all the sinful reactions you can be freed from. You cannot commit so many sins, because the Lord's spiritual name is so potent. That spiritual vibration is so strong that, there is no chance even over crores and crores of lifetimes you can commit a sinful act. That these sinful reactions will actually trouble you. There's a small story somewhere I remember reading. I'm not sure in which Puran. I don't remember the exact name of the Rishi. But there was this king who did some kind of sinful activity. So, those days, the kings had this group of Brahmanas or, gurus, Raja. They call them the Raja, not Raja Rishi, they call them the Skula Guru, somebody who's in their whole Vamsha that they go approach this Guru for, any kind of solution to be freed from the sinful reaction. So this Kula Guru was a very saintly person who was staying in the forest with some of his disciples and his only son. Sadhus, generally, they are very renounced. They don't want anything to do with this material life. They try to avoid, keep life very simple, simple living, high thinking. This is always a motto. But Janma Sarthakari Kara Paropakar, they want to also help others to achieve this, to become simple, and how to always meditate on the supreme absolute truth, this high thinking about the Lord and this lotus feet and, the process of devotion. So this king, he went and he approached that saintly, the king went to the ashrama of that saintly person. But somehow at that time, it was, Sandhya Vandan time. So the sage had actually gone to perform his Gayatri in a nearby river, quite a distance from the ashram. And that saintly person, that guru's son, his son, 16 or 17 years old, he was there. So when the king went and approached and he was waiting, it took some time. So the king said, I have so many responsibilities, I have to leave. Then the son said, my dear king, if you think I am fit for that, you please let me know, why did you come here? If I can offer a solution for that, I will definitely do. So the king said, I have done this and this bad deed, and I want to know how to counteract it. How can I do that? Then the son said, okay, you chant Lord Rama's name 3 times. Ram, Ram, Ram. You chant the holy names of the Lord 3 times. So the king became very pacified, and he chanted, with full faith and devotion, Ram, Ram, Ram. He felt himself cleansed, and then he left the place and he went. So shortly after that, after a few minutes, the sage, this guru, he also came to the ashram. And then, he saw all that footprints there, because the king usually doesn't come alone. So seeing the whole place like this, he asked, did somebody come? And the son replied, my dear father, yes, when the king of a country, he came, your disciple, he came. And, this is what happened. Immediately, the sage became very angry. He literally cursed his own son. He said, how dare you ask him to chant the Lord's name thrice? So the son was baffled. He said, you only told me that the Lord's name is so purifying, the person chants it, he can be delivered from all sinful reaction. So I told him to do it thrice. What is the harm in that? Then immediately the sage replied, you rascal, you have not understood the potency of the holy name. If you had asked him to chant the holy name even once, just once, he would have been complete. He cannot perform so many sinful activities. That is the potency of the holy name. Why did you ask him to chant the holy name thrice? You are unfit to be my son. You get out from this ashram. He cursed him actually. So you see, this story is actually highlighting, very importantly, the power of the holy name. So now this question comes, if just one name of Krishna can deliver us, Prabhuji, why did Prabhupada and, Guru Maharaj ask us to chant, 16 rounds, so many holy names of the Lord? Just one Krishna, you say, with one name Krishna, a Jagdanand Pandit is confirming that in Prema Vivarta. Eka Krishna Nam, one Krishna's name is enough. You cannot commit so many sinful activities. That is the power of that, just that one holy name. Countless lifetimes, Bahujanme, lifetime after lifetime, you do sinful activities and even very high class and top class sinful activities. Still, you cannot commit so many sinful activities as to, this potency of the holy name is so much that it's not possible to get the reaction simply by chanting this holy name. One holy name, you can be freed. So why did Prabhupada and our acharyas, why did they say you chant always so kirtaniya sada hari? And Prabhupada, he gave a concession actually. He said you chant at least 16 rounds every day. Why didn't they say you chant just one holy name and leave it at that? Because one holy name, you'll be freed from all sinful reactions of countless births, right? You'll be completely free. But why are they advising this? And why they are doing is that because we people, we are so conditioned that although we are chanting the name of the Lord, we are not doing it purely. For one thing, we are doing it with unlimited offenses. This is the first thing. And the second thing is, in most of the cases, these offenses are completely intentional. So what we are doing is actually, we are offending the holy name by chanting because of our offenses. And that is why, although we are chanting so many holy names, still we don't even have a trace. We are not even glimpsing, we're not even getting a little bit taste of this love of Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of chanting this holy names of the Lord. But on a positive note, because there is no quality and because of this unlimited offenses to the holy names, Still, the acharyas are very kind. They say, you still continue. At least if there is no quality in the chanting, at least you increase the quantity, thereby, one day, by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of these devotees of the Lord, one day you will relish the taste of the holy name, and one day you will exactly understand how the holy name of the Lord is non different from the Supreme Lord. One devotee, not a devotee, somebody went and asked the saint in India. I'm not sure if it was Tulsidas, but one devotee was asked. This person, he went and asked the saintly person, which is better, the Lord Himself or His holy name? Something like that. Then the saintly person said, there is absolutely no difference between the Lord and His holy name. Both are the same. Abhinnatvam nama namino. There is no difference. When you say Krishna, Krishna is there. There is no difference. But you understand which is much better from the statement. And he says, see, when the Lord was personally there on the planet, He could kill and deliver so many living entities, right? The Lord killed so many demons, and so many people saw Him. All those in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they were actually delivered. And somebody who was even envious, and the Lord personally killed that person, even those people, they got liberation. They were promoted, actually. But during the Lord's presence, so many millions of living entities went back. But the Lord's holy name, even now, it is delivering so many millions of living entities. So you figure it out, which is much more important. Even now, sinful people like us, we are being delivered by the Lord's holy names. But while the Lord was personally present, He could only do, this much. But the Lord's holy name is still delivering us. So you try to understand the potency, which is much more potent. See, I was talking about dharma, right? You see, in the Bhagavad Gita, the starting word is dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveda yuyutsava. And then the word is dharma. And then the last verse in the Bhagavad Gita, you see what is the last verse? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partha Dhanudhara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So Bhagavad Gita is basically talking about dharma and mama. Mama means that is the final word in the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma mama. It's talking about what is the exact occupational duty you are supposed to do. Now this is a preliminary study, the Bhagavad Gita. Now you take the Bhagavatam, which is supposed to be an advanced study, like a master degree course. And how the Bhagavatam is starting? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It is starting with the holy name of the Lord. And how is it ending? The final verse in the Bhagavatam is Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. The holy names, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, is Param. Param is the topmost. There's nothing more beyond these holy names. Chauda Bhuvana Maja. Even in the 14 planetary systems, you go search in every nook and corner with all your powers of investigation, you will find nothing more potent than the holy names of the Lord. So if you have one duty, just one duty to do, and if that one duty is simply to chant the holy names of the Lord, your life is successful. There's nothing else required to do. And Guru Maharaj, he has written this one statement somewhere because I've quoted it in one of my articles I wrote. Maharaj is saying the only concern for a human being is how to develop pure love of Godhead. And this pure love of Godhead can be achieved simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord in the association of devotees. This is the only concern you should have. How I can chant the holy names of the Lord very nicely so that I can achieve love of Godhead in the association of devotees. This is the only concern any human being should have. And this is a top priority duty of every living entity on this planet Earth. There's nothing beyond this. You can consult whoever you want, and you can go all over the planetary systems trying to find out which is the topmost thing, but there is nothing beyond the holy names of all these category of people, like the Manu Samhita is saying, somebody is a Nishada, somebody is a Shatta, somebody is a Pukkasa, all these people. The second canto, it is very wonderfully described, these Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkasas, Abiras, Shumbas, Yavanas, those who are even degraded beyond, lower than the Varnashram system. They are of lower categories than the Shudras. The Shudras, at least, they are in the Varnashrama Dharma, so there is some hope of progress in spiritual life. But these people, they are even lower than these category of Shudras, and they are permanently addicted to sinful activities. But simply by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, by taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord, they can be completely purified. So that's why Prabhupada was always saying, chant, chant, chant. This is only your prescribed duty. If there is one duty for mankind in Kali Yuga specifically, you just chant, chant, chant. And you will be sublimely happy. You can see that. So that's why the sages are, they are encouraging King Indra that it's all right, you kill this person, you kill this demon. And we are giving you guarantee that we will release you from all the sinful reactions. But then, there is there is this anticlimax. He said, you do something good to counteract something bad. This is not going to negate it or to completely cancel that bad reactions. This will not work like that. That is not how material laws are designed. You will enjoy or you will suffer for the good activity and bad activity. So if you do something good, it's not that you're going to negate the bad activity. You will suffer the consequences for both good and bad. If you do bad, naturally there is bad consequences, you will suffer. But if you do good also, ultimately you have to suffer. You may get something good for a while, but that good result will be taken away from you and you will suffer 10 times more. So material world, good or bad, it is simply suffering. Krishna is saying, Dukkalayam ashasvatam. So if somebody is little sensible, little intelligent, immediately he will take up the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, and he will do what he is actually meant to do, how to develop pure love of Godhead, and go back to Krishna's place where all these wonderful pure devotees are there. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This is the conclusion. Because the holy names of the Lord is Param. That is the topmost. So to wind up, these are the summary of the points, few points. Nature's laws are very strict because Mother Nature is actually Krishna's potency. So even you may be Devendra, you may be the king of heaven, but if you do something wrong, you will not be spared the consequences. You always remember that. And then you do anything good, you do anything bad, ultimately in the material world, you will always suffer. So simply because you do something nice and something good in the material world, something pious, it doesn't actually negate or counteract all these bad things that you have done. You will face the consequences of both. This is the second thing. And devotees, especially ones who are always chanting the holy names of the Lord, they are in any form, they may be in any form, they are very special. It doesn't matter. They may appear like a demon, they may appear so many different ways, but wherever they are, the devotees of the Lord, they are very special. Why? Because they have completely surrendered and they accept the authority of the Lord. So because of this one reason, they are given special protection by the Lord. So when you're dealing especially with devotees of the Lord, even ordinary brahmanas, nice brahmanas, what to speak about pure devotees of the Lord, when you're dealing with them, one should be very, very, very careful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, just one more line. So the last thing, the Lord's holy names are so potent that they are actually purifying, and they give you more benefit than the direct presence of the Lord. Although they are non-different, still the holy names of the Lord is our topmost activity. When you go back to the spiritual world also, you will be chanting the holy names of the Lord. You will be running after Krishna, saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So this is a spiritual activity. It is an eternal dharma. It is an eternal activity. So please chant and make your life happy and sublime. Riksh. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Are there any suggestions, any questions, any comments? Thank you. Riksh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam. Yeah, so anyone is having any question, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhuji. Yes, Respect Maharaj, please.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dhanvat Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
He gave very nice quoting so many references about holy name. I have a little uncomfortable with one statement.
Yeah.
That is, our acharyas have sung.
Yeah.
Haristhane aparade tare harinam.
Tumhara sthane aparad.
Tumhara sthane aparade nahi
Nahi
paritra.
paritra.
Okay, but you said even if one kills spiritual master,
Okay.
holy name will
Deliver.
can deliver, or if you please Lord, he can be delivered. So both how somebody who killed the spiritual master can please the Lord, or how somebody who killed the spiritual master can revive and can save himself by chanting. We have seen the example of our Durvasa Muni and
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj. He went to the Lord, but Lord is not pleased. So please enlighten to us.
So, Maharaj has put me on the spot, but whatever little realization I'm having. See, the thing is, Gorgon Maharaj was saying, Bhumil Skalita Padam, Bhumil Avalambanam. You slip on the earth, actually. You fall down, you will fall down on the earth only. This earth only has to give you shelter. So killing a spiritual master, especially a pure devotee, this is there can be nothing more heinous than that. But these spiritual masters, they are so kind, they are much more merciful than the Lord, because the Lord doesn't come directly and deliver himself to you. The Lord is never going to do that. The Lord is always handed over by these pure devotees. And when somebody is doing such a offensive act towards a pure devotee, the Lord cannot tolerate that. All these demons, their nature is that they want to kill God. Right? This is their whole idea, because they want to be God themselves. So they endeavor for that. But Krishna tolerates, like a father is tolerating the misgivings of his son. We say in Tamil, we have a saying, if the small chicken is climbing on the mother's, the mother hen, and kicking the mother hen will not mind, because she gave birth to all of these chicks, this chicken. She will not mind that the small chick is climbing on her and kicking her or pecking at her or all this. It will not mind. See, from a spiritual viewpoint, none of us actually die. We are all eternal. But it is a thought mentality, this consciousness, this has to be killed. Mahaprabhu's movement in Kali Yuga is not to kill the demons, actually. If you're going to kill the demons, you will have to practically wipe out the entire planet, because everybody, to some extent, is very sinful. But how to kill this demoniac mentality? To kill this mentality, these holy names are being suggested. But the Lord will put you through a lot of torture till that person realizes that, I've committed such a great offense to this soul. And when he goes and he apologizes to that soul, that thing, he sincerely repents. and he apologizes. These people are very merciful. They are more merciful than the Lord. So they are meant to sacrifice for the welfare of others. This is what pure devotees do. Jesus Christ, he was whipped on the cross, right? They were practically killing him. But he prayed, "My Lord, please forgive them. They do not know what they do." This is how merciful the devotees of the Lord are. So personally, although they die, you throw bombs at them, you try to kill them in so many ways, still they are so merciful, they don't change their nature. I remember this one small story about this saintly person who he sees that, one scorpion is floating on the water, right, in the river. It is about to drown. And being a saintly person, he didn't want to see another living entity in distress. He immediately picks it up from the river. And the nature of the scorpion is such that, naturally, it is a very envious creature like a snake. Even if you don't provoke that, it will come and bite you. So this scorpion, as soon as the saintly person picked it up, immediately it stung the hand of that person, delivering poison. So, very painful. He shook his hand, that scorpion fell down. But again, when he saw that it was drowning, the saintly person again picked it up. It happened like that. 2-3 times that scorpion was stinging, and then because of the unbearable pain, the saintly person would drop it, but then again he would pick it up. So a person, the disciple who was observing on the banks of the river, he said, "Swamiji, why are you doing this?" And that saintly person, he gave a befitting reply. He said, "This scorpion, although it is a very low creature, it is not able to change its nature. It is not changing its nature. It is, always it is trying to attack me. I'm supposed to be a saintly person. How can I change my nature? My thing is to save the others from this kind of problem. So I'm going to continue." And he was doing that till that scorpion exhausted the poison, and then he took it back to the banks. It may sound very foolish, right? Why devotees should undergo so much torture, so much pain, even to the extent of risking their lives to save another living entity. But this is why they are called magnanimous souls, because this is why they are the devotees of the Lord. Nobody can be more magnanimous than the devotees of the Lord. And our only hope is that, these kind of people will come in our lives so that we can deliver ourselves. So to my knowledge, Maharaj, I think that, somehow or other, if Krishna is putting you in contact with such a wonderful spiritual master, and, even if you are offending him to that extent of killing that spiritual master, he's the only one who can actually save us. There is nobody else who can save us. So somebody like Putana, she is going to kill Krishna, but the Lord is so kind, although she came to kill me, she still did a motherly service. And that service, that best part of the service is being accepted. So people don't get access to gurus directly that you can go finish them off in one day. Generally, you don't do it. You have to be close to them, get close to them, do some service for them. And these people, they see that one good quality in you, that somehow he came to me. And ultimately, they will pray to the Lord that, "My Lord, you please forgive them. They do not know what they're doing." And they are the only hope for people like us. Otherwise, we don't have any hope. There is no any hope. The Lord may not tolerate. The Lord cannot tolerate that such pure devotees and, such people are thrust into hell where they suffer countless lifetimes. But the devotees are always well-wishers, even to people who harm them so grievously. They are always meditating upon the welfare of such kind of people and how they will be delivered. So this is my understanding. That's why the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord. And that's why, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra. You always be in the association of such pure devotees. No matter how terrible you are, don't give up the association of such devotees. This is my understanding. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maybe our Govinda Maharaj can, say something enlightening. My knowledge is just
Hare.
going only up till that.
Yeah, okay. I hope that was answered. And Our Nilamar Maharaj is having a question. Maharaj, please.
Dandavat Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
तो आप बोले 3 बार राम नाम किए तो उनका गुरु उनको रिजेक्ट कर दिए। तो गुरु जो है शुद्ध भक्त तो इतने दयामय है, भगवान से भी ज्यादा सहनशीलता है, तो उनको फिर रिजेक्ट किए और क्या कर दिए, उनका गति क्या हुआ?
वो तो स्टोरी में नहीं है महाराज। वो जितना था मतलब भगवान का नाम का महिमा के बारे में बताने के लिए वो बताया गया कि 3 बार क्यों बोला, तो मैं 1 बार बोलने से भी हो जाता है। सर्व पापे भी है ना, भगवान का एक नाम से जो भी जितना पाप है वो सब मतलब खत्म हो जाता है। तो 3 बार बोलने का क्या जरूरी था तेरे को करके, वो नाम का महिमा का जो है वो प्रचार करने के लिए गुरु ने ऐसे दंड दिया, लेकिन वापस फिर तो लिया होगा। ऐसा नहीं कि खुद का बेटा है तो जरूर कुछ ना कुछ उसके लिए रास्ता बना के है ना किए होंगे। भक्ति सिद्धांत का
उसको ऊपर मैं 1 मिनट बोलूंगा।
जरूर महाराज बोलिए।
जय जगन्नाथ।
जय।
जब दशरथ महाराज को उनका शिष्य लोग बोले तो उनका उस समय तो वशिष्ठ महर्षि नहीं थे, उनका शिष्य लोग ये उपदेश दिए हैं कि 3 बार 2 बार ऐसा राम नाम कीजिए। तो जब बात वशिष्ठ महर्षि सुने उन्होंने गुस्सा हो गए और उनका शिष्य को बोले तुम जाओ सबर बन जाओ, गृह के सबर बने हो, जो कि भगवान राम का बंधु बन गए, मित्र बन गए
जी।
तो इसके माध्यम से शुद्ध भक्त का जो क्रोध है, अभिमान है, वो भी आशीर्वाद है, जो कि भगवान का बंधु बन करके भगवान का सखा रूप में भगवान का साथ खेले, भगवान का अंश ग्रहण किए लीला में। तो वशिष्ठ महर्षि का जो गृह के सबर है, वशिष्ठ महर्षि का मुख्य शिष्य है, उनका नाम ज्ञानदेव कहा जाता है।
ज्ञानदेव, अच्छा ठीक है।
और उन्होंने जब ये तो हमारा रामायण में लीला चरित्र है गृह के सबर के ऊपर। हरे कृष्ण।
महाराज वो एक्चुअली हमारा ब्रजपति महाराज ये पूछ रहे थे कि अगर गुरु को मार ही दिया है ना, अगर मार भी दिया तो उसके लिए क्या उपाय है, महाराज जी वो पूछ रहे थे। आप जो बोला वो सही बोला। तो इसके लिए अब मैं जो भी बताया हूँ मुझे भी उसमें संतुष्टि नहीं मिल रहा है, क्योंकि अगर मैं भगवान के स्थान पे होता और मैं देख रहा हूँ मेरा बहुत प्यारा बच्चा को कोई ऐसा मतलब इतना कष्ट पहुंचाया, मैं कभी उसको माफ नहीं करूंगा। तो ऐसे लोग का क्या गति हो सकता है करके, है ना। तो आप कह रहे हैं कि ऐसे लोग को भी ये लोग कृपा करके फिर अपना संग में ले लेता है, तो ये तो हमारा दिमाग के बाहर हो रहा है ना। इतना मतलब दया कैसे हो सकता है लोग के पास में।
ये जो है वशिष्ठ महर्षि शुद्ध भक्त है, उन्होंने देख रहे कि भगवान का लीला चरित्र में एक व्यक्ति चाहिए, तो उनका शिष्य को भेज दिए, बोले जाओ तुम गृह के सबर बनो और भगवान का लीला चरित्र में तुम साथ दो। ऐसा ही भक्त लोग कभी नाराज नहीं होते हैं, वो लोग अपने जीवन को, जैसे प्रहलाद महाराज कहते हैं, अपना जीवन को विनिमय में भगवान कृष्ण का सेवा करते हैं। लेकिन सांसारिक लोग अपना धन का विनिमय में और पूजा प्रतिष्ठा का विनिमय में जीवन देते हैं, पूजा प्रतिष्ठा के लिए जीवन देते हैं, कोई धन कमाने के लिए जीवन देते हैं, कोई परिवार सुख को केंद्र करके जीवन देते हैं। लेकिन भगवान का शुद्ध भक्त लोग भगवान कृष्ण का संतुष्टि, भगवान का लीला चरित्र में सहयोग, संतुष्टि को केंद्र करके ये सब काम कर रहे हैं। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna Maharaj. When Maharaj is having the point, Maharaj will make it start.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Maharaj.
Prabhu, you have spelled out our name, and so I am also stuck. Maharaj has asked very wonderful question. It's very enlightening. Question is so deep.
But we have to, philosophically, we have to address this point. Because in ignorance, the living entity performs unlimited sins. Right? He has been performing horrible, there is no limit. Even to spoil the wife of the spiritual master, is it any less than killing the spiritual master? And all these things which we described. So in ignorance, a person does so. And that's why nobody is eternally condemned. Because if one becomes eternally condemned, then there's no, that's not our philosophy. Like Christians say that you are eternally condemned to go to hell, like that. So however horrible the sin, in ignorance only one would do this, correct? Sometimes out of ignorance, or sometimes out of अंधेरे में जैसे गाय की हत्या हो गई, those things are excused, but nonetheless the हत्या तो हुई ना. उसी प्रकार killing the spiritual master, what could be greater than that? Sometimes Arjun is killing his own spiritual master and elders, whatever, The whole idea is the supreme Krishna, because he uses everybody as the instrument, as you said. And when such thing happens, because we forget about our past life and what will happen next, eventually, even after going through a cycle of 84 millions or 8.4 million species, one will get another chance. It's a long journey, but in our present context, if we understand the value of this question, we must find our focus that when spiritual master can award as the highest supreme perfection, why to dilute, why we dilute or undermine the benefit which can accrue to all of us, and stay away from the very possibility of ever thinking of killing the spiritual master. But time is not allowed. I had one question which, if I am allowed to ask or not. Okay, so question is, you use this for in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We found a reference, I cannot recall there, in its Madhya Leela. You took the names of 4 kinds of sins, correct? Patak, Atipatak, Mahapatak, something like that, in category. So they can be compared to, Srila Prabhupada gives a very wonderful analogy, but I can recall it, but I don't know exact reference where it is. I shared with our Akurada Paramananda, and I was asking if he, because I shared with him if he remembers. I forgot, he may not. So the 4 regulatory principles, when we say that, the meat eating, gambling.
This is
So these can be 4 related with these 4 levels of sins. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit connections, correct? So there is a connection between the Patak, Atipatak, and in those categories. The point I was trying to say, if you want to elaborate, that which one connects to the meat eating, which connects to intoxication, gambling, and the illicit connection. Patak, Atipatak, and like that. So my analogy, is I understood from Srila Prabhupada's explanation that which appears to be the lowest, it is the highest stuck, and which appears to be the worst is not the is the least worst. It's a paradox here, tremendous paradox. I give you the example. So Patak is the lowest, correct? Patak means sinful, illicit sex life. It's Patak, because that's where most people are stuck. The grossest is the eating the meat or the cow meat or anything. So when we take the process of pure devotional service, that the grossest or the worst go away first. Meat eating goes away, intoxication and gambling goes away, but this illicit affair, this stigma haunts most of us. So that's the paradox I was trying to share. You want to elaborate a little bit?
No, Maharaj, you have already said, you're trying to, these 4 sinful activities, you're putting under one particular category, right, Maharaj?
Srila Prabhupada does it. Srila Prabhupada did that in one of the purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So, Pataka means you're talking about Which one, Maharaj? Then among these
Il-
four, which is Pataka?
So
Illicit sex.
you reverse the sequence. These are the
Okay.
greater sins. Yeah.
Ati Pataka is illicit sex or
No,
meat eating, Maharaj?
meat eating.
Oh, Ati Pataka is meat eating.
So
Mahapataka?
that goes. So that goes first when we take to path of devotional service. Immediately one gives up meat eating,
Oh.
but it is the
And then-
grossest. But it is the grossest.
Mahapataka?
Yeah, go to the category down. Gambling, intoxication.
Illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. So meat eating is the topmost, right? Atipataka
Yeah,
is the most grievous sin. Then
exactly.
Mahapataka, little lower than that. Mahapataka is which one, Maharaj?
Gambling.
Gambling. Okay, Mahapataka. And intoxication is Urupataka, right?
Yes.
And then the least sinful is illicit sex, Pataka.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why it is said like that? The three go away very fast, but the fourth one lingers on, even in sadhakas possibility. You know,
Which one, Maharaj? You're talking about meat eating?
pataka. No.
Pataka. Oh, the
Pataka.
illicit connection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Subtle form. Yeah.
So it appears to the biggest, but it is the lowest, and so people think that we have become free from three regulatory principles. Correct?
Yeah,
fourth one to chalta hai, you know. It's not that serious, but it is the most serious. See the apparent as the difference, the paradox. It's for contemplation. That's all.
Thank you, Maharaj.
You can conclude further.
Yeah. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai. Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Samveda Gaur Bhakta Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhu ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class.